So while I was editing today's video, which is 4 or 5 months later than this scene here, I stumbled across all this old footage that we never used in the first series of the stair renovation. This is the very last section, and it didn't seem like any point really to carry on filming and producing videos, as it was just repeating the same work. But it seemed a shame to miss out on this little chapter of the house renovation, so I'm going to make it a standalone video. The next video will be catching up with the current situation and even getting the carpet down. So here it is, the last of the stair renovation. Bear in mind, this is the first time I've done a staircase, and Dad lives in a bungalow, but I think we did alright. So enjoy the video, and we'll see you in the next update on Thursday. So this was a good few months after the first phase of the stairs, which you saw in the initial series, but I filmed this install anyway because it was a little bit different from the first lot. So this one had to go around a stair newel post slash supporting post, and I decided to notch around it and then put an end scroll on the end of the handrail rather than terminate it into the post. And then when it came to the newel post at the top, rather than being slightly kind of more like a dowel like the middle floor and the ground floor, this one had two joists that I had to fit it in between. So I made a load of curve cuts on the miter saw and then took those down to leave us with a bit of a tenon we could then bolt into from the side of the joist. So here it is going in, slid in pretty well between the two joists, but then we had to take it back out again because the top of the stairs stringer was curved. So we wanted to scribe it to that just so it looked pretty seamless, as this would be stained and the rest of the old joinery would be painted white. So it needed to be a fairly sharp line if possible. You can see on the left there we just about had enough space there to get a couple of coach bolts in from that side and really tighten it up. Then it was on to the stairs themselves. Now the side of the stairs had cladding ripped out in the past, and there was hardboard on there. So I had to remove that, and then I packed it out with some ply and then put a thin sheet or strip of MDF there. This is going to be a painted surface, and I really needed something about 3mm thick. That's all I had, and it worked out just fine. There'll then need to be a bit of trim underneath and above it to finish it off. You can see the cladding just at the bottom left of the screen there. That tongue and groove would have gone all the way up originally, but it had been pried off when the house got gutted in the 60s. So here's that bit of trim going on. That's helping square things up and gives us something to paint to underneath where it meets the old lime plaster underneath. This was pretty much the last project I managed to get out of that old tackwise nailer. It just started playing up far too much, and we soon moved on to that new Ryobi nailer, which we've started using recently. So on with the usual undercoat. It's an acrylic undercoat primer, and it's kind of our go-to one for the house. After the filling, that is, and then left that to dry before starting on the eggshell. Then it was onto the spindles, same process as the first flight and the landing. Cutting them to length. The first stretch of these are all identical because the handrail is parallel to the stairs, and then it tapers off when it turns horizontal, so we have that awkward section at the top. Once again, I had to trim down and plane the infill strips to get them nice and snug into the handrail. From the joinery they were just oversized, and I didn't like the fact that they were sticking out proud. So once they were all machined back down to the right depth, then everything slots in pretty easy. And I do check it as I go up, but really if all the infill strips are correct, then really it should all stay plumb as we go up. As I went up, although the glues and the fact that they're wedged in place means they're structurally fine, I did just pin them in place. And as we got to the top where the handrail meets the ceiling, the spindles need to get shorter, just as I've done on the first two sections. I had to cut them and dowel them, and that just meant that the pattern of the turned section kind of carried on all the way to the top. I only had these short dowels, but I think they should be fine, especially for this height of spindle. That's as far as I got, so fast forward 4 or 5 months, and here we are today. Now if you think it looks pretty similar now, 4 or 5 months on, then you'd be correct. It's basically stood untouched. But in the next video, I'll be showing you how I've finally conquered this staircase project, and we've even got a carpet to finish the whole place off. So thanks for watching this one. Make sure you subscribe to keep up to date with all the videos. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this one, and make sure you check out the next one on Thursday. So thanks for watching. Remember, if you can, do it yourself, and we'll see you next time.